Are you looking for more out of your life? Do you need ideas on how to start new businesses and how to move forward in your own personal life? Well, guess what? You have come to the right radio show. At You Can Overcome Anything podcast show, you will learn and hear from many people from all walks of life who are sharing their challenges, their stories, the habits, and the mind shifts they had to overcome to become who they are today. On top, you will get a chance to connect and see how you can overcome anything by networking and learning about your next move through this radio show. I present to you our great speakers at You Can Overcome Anything podcast show with your host, Cesar Espino. Hey, what's going on, guys? So today I'm super excited because I'm here with one of my very good friends who I met, a couple years back. I think it's been now what a good, I don't know, six,
Way
seven,
back.
8 years.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, and I wanted to have this conversation and talk to you guys about what he's doing now. We met at a self-development event, and then you were still working for corporate America,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, the gas company.
Yeah.
Right. And one of the things you wanted to do is how can I get out of that to start doing something, for yourself, for your family, and now you have a family, to kids, you're just growing, right? And so you've been able to do in the last 8 years what many people haven't been able to do, just for the simple fact that they are so afraid to take that leap of faith, take that chance, and learn about different financial solutions or strategies that can help you get that. And so it's my pleasure to introduce my good friend, Christian Lopez. How are you, my friend?
Doing well. Doing well.
Good, good. So talk to me a little bit about your background. I know you have a lot going on, but
Yeah.
tell the people, what do you do now? I know you do help families like crazy.
Yeah. So that's actually an interesting story as you're reminding me how we met. One of the things that I recognize is, when I was at that event, um, I had to go back to work after the event was done.
Yeah.
And a lot of you guys were like,
Right.
already entrepreneurs, and it's kind of like on your own schedule. So I'm like, man, I really love that. I love the what we learned, and so I just wanted more in life.
Mm-hmm.
I recognize that there's financial strategies that I didn't know. There was ways to run businesses that I didn't know, and then also networking with people that can give me or help me with the things that I didn't know.
Yeah.
So anyway, fast forward now. So I worked at the gas company. Climbing the corporate ladder. I worked for other corporations as well, doing really well for myself. But I wanted more, and I wanted to find a way where I can give back to the community as well.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't come from a wealthy family, but I was, in search of the American dream. I have two wonderful boys, wonderful wife,
Mhm.
and so we just wanted more freedom, and so now I'm happy to be in an industry that will help me get that freedom, and at the same time help others as well.
Yeah, I love that. Few things. First, let's talk about how did you get involved with this industry? Like, what I know it's done a lot of great things for you. And so that the first thing is, how did you get involved? And is this something that maybe other people, if they wanted to, can also get involved? And then I want to talk about the things you do in helping families.
Absolutely. So, my wife and I, we bought our first home in 2009, and I started really looking into different ways where I can maybe have some passive income. Right. I would speak to a lot of business owners, and they would say, I own a business and I own real estate.
Gotcha.
So I didn't know how I was going to start a business.
Right.
And I am like, okay, well, I can buy real estate. So I bought real estate, and then we sold that real estate, and we invested in income properties.
Okay.
So my wife and I, we invested in income properties, but I felt like I still didn't know much about finance. I didn't know financial strategies that can now give me that accelerated path. And so I went to a trading seminar to learn how to trade stocks.
Okay.
And I met a individual who happens to I met him at a restaurant, and he pulls up in a nice Porsche. I love Porsches, right?
Right.
And I just said nice car, and we had a conversation. I'm like, well, what industry are you in? He's like, I'm in the financial industry.
Mm,
He told me, so I went to his office, and I was blown away.
mm,
I was like, wait, I've never been taught these strategies. They don't teach it in school. No one's ever taught me. So I was like, if I didn't know, and I've been reading a lot of books, then maybe there's other people that don't know.
right.
So I decided to get my license with the state, and that was about 8 years ago now.
Yeah.
And so now I gave up my career in corporate America. This is what I do full time, serving
Right.
families.
Yeah, I love that. And you said something that really resonates with me, and that is I didn't learn this at school. They didn't teach you this, and
Right.
you know this, but for the people that are watching us, I have an MBA. I've gone through that route of actually going up on the corporate ladder, getting the education, going through all of that. And I believe that, not that I'm knocking that in by no means, a couple of different things. Number one, they don't teach you to be an entrepreneur or a business owner. They teach you how to be a good employee.
Right.
Okay. So they don't talk about financial stability or strategies. The second thing is, for people like me that say, hey, you know what, I want to just get out of that and take my leap of faith and become an entrepreneur. That's a whole different animal. Yet I also realize that you help people that are in that space, that are business owners, that while they might be doing good, they still do not know, like you said, all of the financial possibilities, right? And or strategies that can help grow their money and their business, right? So not only do you help individuals, you also help business owners with
Right.
their financial solutions, right?
Right. Yeah. So you said it right. Like a lot of times it's that, we're climbing the corporate ladder. A lot of times, you get um you maybe get like motivated to start your own business,
Mhm.
right? And now you become a business owner. Now it's like, hey, I went from, showing up and working for someone else. Now I'm showing up working for myself, which what I found is sometimes it's like 10 times harder, right? So you gotta, sometimes people are like, wait a minute, what did I do?
Right.
And unfortunately, some people, they find out that it was easier just to go back and get a job with benefits, right?
Mhm.
Just say, I just had to show up, and so they let go of their business. What I found though is a lot of times, because business owners are so focused in growing and expanding their business and attracting new clients, a lot of times they forget about the financial strategy that's going to help them retire, that's going to help them, expand the business, or it's going to help them, in a case of a severe change in their life, whether it's a sickness, an illness, a death of a partner, right? A lot of things can happen. And so what I found is a lot of business owners, they're so focused in their business that a lot of times they kind of forget about the other things. And then same thing with families, right? A lot of families, you get married, you buy a house, you have the kids, you're going to sports and all that stuff, and then we forget about the bigger picture. A lot of times people are they're putting money into their 401k because it's getting matched, and they're hoping that one day when they get to retirement that they're going to have enough. So we have a saying that hope is not a strategy. Right?
Right.
Hope is not a strategy. So what I love about this industry most is that we can sit down with people, ask them what their goals are, right? Because it's interesting that everybody is so focused on putting money into a 401k, but we all have different retirement goals.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So now we can strategize, really create something that is in alignment with someone's goals.
Yeah, for sure.
So I really love that part that, with a financial strategy, right? If we want to get fit, we go to a trainer a lot of times, right? You can do it yourself, but if you want results,
Faster,
right, you
can
can go to a
right.
trainer,
Yeah.
right? So what I love is when people have some type of a goal or maybe a challenge. They're either trying to pay off debt, they're trying to, diversify their portfolio. Maybe they're in a position where they retire, they're going to pay an exorbitant amount of taxes, or maybe they're losing money, right? Whatever that may be, now we can sit down together and really come up with a plan, and I really love that journey with people.
I love that. There's a couple of things that I want to ask you because you find this a lot, right? You said it. People have different objectives, different goals when they retire, and again, a lot of times you're told, "Hey, go ahead and put your money in a 401k." I think there's nothing against that, but again, 401k or go get a CD that's going to give you a 3 or 4% return, if any, or just put in the savings, like you're getting like 5 cents a year or something, right? And so the norm, they give you all of these different things, right? And I believe that the wealthy get wealthy. They get wealthy because they know the different strategies. You're bringing those strategies into the normal, Bobby and Joe, right? Or Susie and whatever, right? You're bringing those strategies. So here's one thing that people come up with: is like, I'm in so much debt. How can I get out of debt?
Yeah, so that's been something that when I first started in this industry, I would get a lot of that, like, hey, I'm gonna start investing and having my money work for me when I'm out of debt. And what happens, what I see is a lot of times, um, so one thing that is one of the biggest enemies to money is time.
Right.
So yeah, that sounds like a great plan maybe to them, but when we look at the numbers, it actually is hurting. It's hurting you.
Okay.
So what I always recommend is, hey, let's come up with a strategy that can help you pay off the debt, but at the same time, you now have an asset. So you're not losing out on time. And we're going to create this asset to pay down this debt. Now the debt is gone, and now you have time and compounding working for you. So a lot of people have never been exposed to that strategy. And what I love is when the light bulb turns on,
Right.
people are like, wait a minute, I love this.
Yeah.
Right? I can pay off my debt in a much faster rate than and then at the end I have an asset that I can now leverage so I no longer get into debt.
Yeah.
Right. So I love a lot of that, like, just people, they might have that idea, like, I'm on a mission, I'm gonna pay off my debt. That's great. I think that's great. But then there's also good debt, right?
Right.
There's bad debt and good debt. Like, I have several real estate properties, and that's good debt, right? Credit cards, not so good. But if you're using a credit card to, let's say, start a business, right? Maybe invest in something that's going to give you a return, then that's good debt.
Right.
And what I love is showing people, like, hey, you can leverage this, you can leverage this, you can leverage that, right? So yeah, so when people are so focused on paying off debt, I think it's great, but there's also ways where you can accelerate that, right? Using tools.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, money is just a tool, right?
Gotcha.
It's just a tool. It depends on how you use it.
Right.
And so it kind of takes me back to my days when I was a technician for Jaguar.
Yeah.
Did that for 9 years when I was fresh out of high school, actually. And what I recognize is, you get the job done much faster and more efficiently with the right tools. And so now financial strategies is the same way.
Right.
Right. So I feel that, yeah, we want to get out of debt. We want to pay off the debt. But at the end, right, we want to make sure that we're not losing time. Right. Because let's face it, I mean, I remember when my son was born, my firstborn, right? And now I blink and he's 6 years old.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with our retirement strategies, with our financial plan. You're going to say, I'll do it tomorrow, right? I'll do it tomorrow. It's kind of like working out in a way, right? It's that phase, right?
Right.
The summer's around the corner. And a lot of people want to get in shape, right? They're like, I want to be fit, but yet, I'm eating unhealthy, or I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow, right? And then another year goes by, and then another, right? So yeah, I'm not sure if I answered the question about the debt, but
you did.
But I feel that, yeah, the debt is what holds a lot of people back from actually getting to the next level. And I would say, hey, you know what? Come up with a strategy, sit down with a professional that can help you come up with a plan, right? And we're not talking about debt settlement or filing for bankruptcy, right? None of that. Actually utilizing what you have, which kind of brings another point, Cesar. A lot of times I sit down with people like, Christian, you don't understand. I have no money. I love those conversations.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because in my mind, and I think that also this is why I love what I do so much, because I was a technician for 9 years.
Right.
Or like 10 years, right? So what did I get? People will come to me with their problems. Hey, my car's broken. Can you fix it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the challenge. Let me see what's
Gotcha.
wrong with it, right? And there's no better feeling than saying, hey, Mr. Client, here's your car back.
Right.
It's 100% now,
It's
right?
great.
I'll see you the next time it breaks down.
Yeah.
And I love that with finances because it's like, hey, you're telling me you have a problem, okay? And I have the solution. And so what a lot of times, you know, I help several people. They're like, I have no money. And then I look at the portfolio. I'm like, wait a minute, you have this, you have that, you have this. You just don't know how to use it. Let's go use that. And now, you know, a pretty cool story. Someone that was a real estate investor says, I had no money, this and that, right? And then I have a financial advisor already. Right. Which I get a lot too.
Yeah.
I have a financial advisor. I'm like, perfect. Our conversation is going to be easier now because you understand, right? Let me show you what your financial advisor is not telling you, or not telling you, but showing you, right? Because they're doing great at growing your money. Now let me show you how to use your money, right? And that's the difference. And so this client, I have no money, I have this, I have all these other goals. Short story. I call her to check in, and she's like, "We paid off close to $100,000 in debt on the strategy you showed me."
Wow. Yeah.
Right?
That's huge.
So,
Yeah. Along those lines, when you talk about debt, right? I like the fact that you can create, and you said it, even if you feel like you have no money, you're gonna find them a solution or at least some guidance, right? Talk about retirement. I think that's huge too, right? Especially right now. I don't believe anyone, I don't care, unless you're working at a very, very good job and making a lot of money, there's not a whole lot for you at retirement, right? And again, a lot of people put their money in a 401k if the company offers that, and or they're just, some people are just relying on unemployment. And as we know, that's not something that is going to give you, 10, 15 years past your retirement. If you're
Right.
looking for that, you're probably not going to be able to get that, right? I do believe that that's a huge challenge we're having and facing, or people are facing. How can you help somebody that are looking to not only take care of their debt now, we talked about that, but now it's like, okay, now I need to set up money for my retirement so that I can actually, if you want to go travel, if you want to do whatever you want to do, right, you can actually do it. Because a lot of people, what do? When they leave their job, you see them working at McDonald's or Walmart. Nothing against them, but you see a lot of older people working there because there's not enough money coming
right.
in.
Yeah. So one of the things that I recognize, it's certain patterns, right? Like, hey, I want to just put money in a 401k because everybody else is doing it. Everybody around me is doing it, right? And again, there's nothing wrong with that. But one of the advancements we have is technology and AI. So our company, we utilize that, right? So we have software where I can show someone what their retirement is going to look like. And in most cases, right, people are going to run out of money, like you said, right away. And there's something in that software that we can't do, and that is to let's say put in like a prediction of maybe the market going down. So that's the other factor is, so how can we protect someone's retirement, right? How can we make sure they're not going to outlive their money? But also too, what if they get a severe illness, right? How can we put all this together so that way, they can just live out their retirement like they designed, right?
Gotcha.
Because there's certain phases to retirement. The first phase is go, go, go. I'm retired. I'm going to travel the world. I'm going to buy the car I always wanted. I'm going to buy a boat. I'm going to buy an RV. I'm going to, the conversation might be like, hey, we're retired. We're going to spend a lot of time in our house. Let's go and renovate the kitchen. Let's go do this. Let's go do all of that, right? And then what happens? Maybe the market takes a dip. The retirement account goes lower, right? You take a withdrawal, the account drops. You have to pay taxes now because it's a 401k. Boom, that now takes a hit. And then people start to realize like, oh my goodness, we're running out of cash, right? So with a proper plan, now we can make sure that, hey, go ahead and buy that boat. Go ahead and take that vacation. Go ahead and remodel your house. And also congratulate your financial advisor because they help you grow your nest egg. Now let's go ahead and see how we can make sure that your money's never going to lose, right? Your money's protected from taxes, because that's also another enemy of money, right? So losses and taxes and time, right? And then we also want to make sure that the money that you're going to utilize in retirement is going to also continue to grow. So that's a concept that a lot of people sometimes they have a hard time understanding that because they never heard about it. They're used to just pulling out money and hoping that's going to go up. Where, what I found is a lot of people that know these financial strategies, they understand that I can use the money, but also have it grow at the same time. So they're using the money's working for them twice.
Gotcha.
Right. So going back to the retirement phases, you have your go-go years, which is the fun era in retirement. And then you have your slow down years, right? This is more like, hey, we did all the traveling, we did all these fun things. Now we got to kind of, we got to slow down a little bit, right? For many reasons, right? Maybe you can't walk as much as much, right? And then we have the no-go years. The no-go years is like, hey, we're on our last phases here. We're gonna spend more time with the family at home. But we also want to make sure that one, the final expenses are taken care of, right? If there's a severe illness that happens, they're not going to have to sell their home or tap into other assets that they were planning to leave to the family.
Got it.
Right. So when you're looking at retirement, we want to look that far. Okay.
Gotcha.
So that way, at least you can paint the picture and you can focus. It's kind of like your navigation, right? Nowadays, I mean, even coming to the office, I use navigation, but I've been here so many times.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those mindless things that helps me, right? In case there's a little traffic on the road, or something that is going to warn me about. Retirement planning is almost the same way. You want to set your destination, and then you want to use your navigation to get you there. And the navigation is the tools, right? And also having the right professional guide you through that process. Because, you don't have times I've seen people in the wrong program for retirement that is not going to give them what they want, their lifestyle, whether it's a travel, whether it's this or that, right? So when you're planning for retirement, I think it's really important to really tie in the goals, right?
Got it.
What you're contributing matters as well. Sometimes people tell me I'm getting a match and they're overfunding their one account, right? When they can diversify their portfolio, right? And with the software that we have, it's pretty cool. I can show someone, this is what your account's going to look like in the future, even with the match, right? We can account for taxes in the future. We can. So now they have a really clear picture before they get to retirement, right?
Gotcha.
Because the worst thing is now you're getting ready to retire. You're like, oh, the plan I just did for 30 years is not going to work for me.
Right.
You can't take that back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So those are one of the things that I would say is really important is looking forward and then having the right tool, the right vehicle to take you there.
I love that. The other thing that comes to mind, we talked about, retirement, debt, and, all of this growing your money. What about legacy? That's
Legacy.
huge.
Oh, yeah.
And when I have a daughter, 2 grandkids, and when I leave this place, right, I want to make sure they're taken care of, or I leave something behind, or this is the one thing, right? Things happen unexpectedly. Knock on wood, why won't say me? Somebody dies tomorrow, right? And now they don't have anything for them to. Now they're literally leaving a burden to their family to take care of all of the funeral expenses and things like that. So that legacy, making sure you're taking care of your family even on those difficult times. Do you work on that?
Absolutely. So one of the things that that I love about legacy, and I get it. Some people, I met people, and this is okay, whatever suits them. But I've met people that are like, I'm not leaving anything to my kids, right?
Right.
They're gonna have to work just as hard as I did, and that's fine. But the challenge with that is you have a choice. You're gonna leave it to your kid, or you're gonna leave it to the government. That's really what it comes down to.
Okay.
You can leave it to charity or your church, right? So there's different options. I personally, kids, right, charity and church. I don't want to leave it to the government.
Right. I agree with you.
They take enough from us already. So legacy I love because I have 2 boys, right? And then I have my wife as well. And then I have parents that if something happens to me, I want to make sure they're taken care of because, our culture,
Right.
you
Yep.
know, your parents
100%.
pave the path, and then
Yeah.
you're going to take care of them, right?
Yep.
So I joke around now that as a father, that everything that I have is for them. Literally, even my car, right?
Yeah, right.
My car is like all of that is for them. But there's right ways and wrong ways of doing that. One of the right ways is having a trust and
Okay.
estate plan,
Gotcha.
right? You know, oftentimes people, they maybe have a house or maybe they don't have a house, but they have, you know, some possessions that maybe they want to leave behind. When you don't have the right documents, unfortunately, especially in our state of California, um, it'll go through court, right? Probate,
Yep.
right? And so probate is something that definitely is not friendly. It costs a lot of money and takes a lot of time. And the worst part is taxes as well. So there are certain things you can put in place that will make sure that the legacy you transfer is going to be tax free.
Got it.
Right? Or at least tax advantage. And one of the best ways is through an estate plan, which we do offer that as well. We do full plans for people. As a matter of fact, we work with two companies that offer a complimentary estate plan.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so you that kind of checks that box.
Yeah.
And then the legacy would transfer tax free to the family as well.
Got it.
So yeah, so that's a great thing to bring up because you know we work so hard to build everything, and then when it's not properly planned for, when we all go, it can go into the wrong hands.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
So so legacy is definitely an important thing. With that, having some type of benefit that also if you get like a coma or a stroke or a severe heart attack, cancer, right? What you had planned to leave as a legacy, you preserve that. And you have other things that you can leverage that would pay for those medical expenses.
Got it.
Because that's sometimes what happens is someone plans to leave a house, cars, money, like you know, investment accounts, but an unfortunate thing happens and now they're having to withdraw from that and then they leave their family with nothing.
Got it.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know, making sure that you have the right estate plan in place, the right people in place that can, you know, execute that plan for you when you're no longer here.
Gotcha.
Is really important.
Is that part of you know, like again, if you get a terminal illness or you get something, right? I've talked to people in the past, and they're like, you know, they have you know a job, and they have a life insurance through their work. Could a life insurance through work do that and help you tap into that money as you're, you know, again, if you have a terminal illness or you know, cancer or something, heart attack, can you get that money to help you with your living expenses?
So I'm glad you brought that up. A lot of times people, like when I was at the gas company and other corporations, they offer great benefits, and that's great when you're working there. But when you retire is when usually things happen, right?
Right.
And when you retire, in most cases, those benefits are no longer there.
Got it.
So that's one, right? So I always recommend for someone to own your own things, right?
Yeah.
We do offer complimentary consultations.
Okay.
So sometimes free is good.
Yeah.
But sometimes free is too good to be true, right? Like that life insurance plan is not going to stay with you for the rest of your life. Those benefits at work are not going to stay with you for the rest of your life, right? So own it yourself.
Yeah.
Carry that as more of a bonus, right?
Gotcha.
So someone has a policy through work, and there's a lot of stipulations there that a lot of people don't understand. For example, in some cases, the policy may not pay out if you're on leave. Okay. And so if something happens, you're on leave, you're temporarily unemployed with that company. Yes, you're still you still have a badge number and all that, but there's a lot of stipulations that a lot of people don't understand. Another thing, let's say you know, right now we're in an industry, we're in a time where, you know, someone might be with an employer for 5 years, and then now they get they're going to get another job somewhere else, and maybe it doesn't have the same benefits, but it has higher pay, right? And so now if they want to get, let's say, a plan, they're 5 years older now, you know, so that can mean that they're going to have to put more money into that.
Yeah.
Okay. So when it comes to the work plans, the work benefits, I think it's great that they offer that, but at the same time, you don't control it. They do,
Yeah.
right? At the end of the day, your job is going to control it. They can change providers, they can make a lot of changes,
all the
terms.
Yeah.
But when you lock in a term, right, with one of the companies we work with, it's locked in,
Gotcha.
right? You own it and you can now transfer that to your family.
Yeah.
So my recommendation is definitely take the work benefits, utilize those as much as you can, but also carry your own,
Yeah.
right? Because at the end of the day, it's like, would you rather rent something or own it, right?
Yeah.
Rent is not, it's temporary.
Right.
Yeah, it's lower cost for you, but the outcome can be very expensive in the future.
I love that analogy. And you said something, and you're right. When it comes down to that, again, nothing against it, but I believe that sometimes the companies might give you all of that, right?
Yeah.
In a nice little bow tie to keep you there,
Right.
right? But not letting you see what could be a potential for you down the line. Like
Right.
they're holding you back from other possibilities.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's an old carrot on a stick.
Correct.
Right? And
Yes.
nothing wrong with that. I think it's great because we work with a lot of business owners and we tell them, hey, there's plans available where if you do have a key employee or someone that is if something happened to them, your business would suffer. Hey, let's create a plan that's beneficial for the employee and beneficial for the employer as well.
Yeah.
Right? So that way their business thrives. And the employee is also going to be happy that you're taking care of them, right?
Yeah.
So we do offer those plans. They're actually a little bit they're I would say I would hate to use the word better, but in most cases they are, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times the plans that we can structure for that business owner would benefit them, right? The employee. And so yeah, at the end of the day, you want to own it yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Because the terms can change, unemployment, right? We have AI taking jobs.
Right.
A lot can change, and then you don't want to be left without like any type of plan, right?
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. Can you talk about some of the strategies, at least share some of the strategies that you used, maybe with some past clients so people can kind of get an idea? That's the first one. The second thing is, I think part of this, I don't understand this, maybe you can enlighten me on this and educate me. A lot of times too, we have this very beautiful phone, right?
Mhm.
And we are so easy to make sure that we secure and get insurance for that phone because I lose it, I break it, whatever that might be.
Mhm.
Why do you think people are so afraid to maybe insure their life, but they're okay insuring a phone?
Well, first, I think it's marketing for sure.
Okay.
Right? It's like, hey, my life can no longer exist without this, right?
Yeah.
Like, have you ever lost your phone?
Yeah.
You're like, where's my phone? Where's my phone? You're going
Right.
crazy.
Yeah.
Right? So here's the important thing that I want people to understand is if you're going to insure this phone because it makes your life easier, it's, communication, all that, right? What about insuring yourself? You produce income,
Mhm.
right? You're the one paying the bills. You're the one, right? Maybe putting food on the table. So if you had, I like using this analogy, right? If you had a goose
Mhm.
that was laying those golden eggs, and those golden eggs were like 14 karat, worth a lot of money, right? It's just popping out golden eggs, right? Would you protect that golden goose?
Yeah.
Absolutely, right? Because it's providing,
yeah.
it's producing. Well, what I find oftentimes some people don't understand that they are the goose.
Mm.
They're going to work, right? They have a business, and they are focused on so many other things, especially growing their wealth, but they don't have the right protection in place, right? And that's the foundation, because everything can change in an instant, right? A car accident, something can change very quickly, right? Like you said it, we insure our phones, we insure our cars, we insure our homes, right? Why not insure your income, right? So that's first. And then the other thing too is looking at strategies, right? Again, I sit down with a lot of individuals, and the first thing they'd say is like, I have a financial advisor.
Yeah.
And I love that. I think it's great. We're not here to replace the financial advisor. His job is to grow your money, right? Make sure he grows it as much as possible. But then there comes a time where you're going to have to distribute that money. That's where we come in. We're going to protect that money. We're going to now make sure that the growth was there. Now it's time to distribute and make sure that money is going to last for the rest of your life. And so we want to make sure that we protect that money as well, right? Because again, money is just a tool, right? But if you don't have the right things in place, that tool can now land in someone else's hand.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I love that. Chris, man, I can go on and on with this, man. I love the topics. I think this is something that we all need. We need more of this education. Again, they don't teach this in school. And really talking about the different options and things that we can do. Any last minute words that you can say to the people that are watching to one, start if they're not doing any of this, like one, how can they start doing this? How do they, learn more about this? Or maybe they want to be the you 8 years ago, where they want to get into the business.
Yeah, one of the things that I see, it's a trend right now. We call it the TikTok financial advisors, right? And here's a challenge with that. A lot of them may put out great content, right? But a lot of it might be biased, right? Some might say, hey, don't invest in cryptocurrency, don't invest in precious metals, don't invest in the stock market, don't invest in any other product but mine. Right.
Gotcha.
And so they're very clever in the way where they can throw fear into your head. And now because you have that fear, like, hey, like there's a company out there that says buy term and invest the difference. And I think that's a great idea, but it doesn't work for everybody.
Got it.
Right. And now what I've found is a lot of people that buy term and invest the difference, their investments are not really panning out. Right. And so I always say, hey, it's worth another opinion by someone who has access to a lot of products, a lot of different programs.
Yeah.
Right. And someone that's going to work with your financial advisor, because we encourage that. Hey, I'll meet with your financial advisor. I know he's been with you for 20 years. He's like family, right? But at the end of the day, we're fiduciaries. We work for you, right? So we want to make sure you're in good hands.
All right.
So we'll work with your CPA, we'll work with your financial advisor, we'll work with your doctor, we'll work right with your attorney, right?
Right.
You say that jokingly, but I actually had two dogs. They passed away, but I had my dogs in my estate plan.
Yeah.
Who's going to take care of my dogs?
Yeah.
Right. So as a joke, we include that too.
Yep.
Right. Everything.
Right.
But some last words I want to just mention. So with that, I would just say, when you're financial planning is not something you want to mess around with, right? You don't want to just get the advice from anyone, right? Especially like someone that you don't see you wouldn't trade life with, right? So I would say be careful where you get your advice from, right? And the internet is a great resource, but also it's very biased.
Yeah.
Right. Go to the source. Right. And I would say a good financial plan is going to encompass everything. Right. I hold stocks, precious metals, right? Crypto, insurance based, real estate, like just having different things that are going to work for you. Okay. And then as far as strategies go, there's some concepts out there that people never heard of before. I actually really enjoy those conversations, right? And so I would encourage people to really go out there and look outside of a 401k, outside of an IRA, outside of a Roth IRA, right? There's so many great things. Like we personally, our company has access to a strategy that no one else has in the industry except for the company that created that strategy.
Wow.
So we have special access to that. And that strategy, imagine, Cesar, like you're a business owner, right? Or, doctor, attorney, whatever, you're planning for retirement. Most people like the match, right? So imagine now you can put money away and then you have a match on that. And then at the end, you keep that plan. That's right. Nice. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that we can definitely do for people. But I would say that just, really start planning out your goals.
Got it.
Because retirement is just around the corner. And some people say, hey, I love my job. I never want to retire. And that's great. Then for those people, I would say make sure to look into ways that your money can work for you. Because at the end of the day, it's like a story I told my son. I told him a while ago. I was like, hey, your money wants little friends. So make sure your dollar goes out there. And when your dollar goes out there, it brings back little friends. Send another dollar out, it brings back more friends. Right. And he got that concept.
Yeah.
Right. And so, funny story. So now every time I give him some money, he saves it, but he still spends my money. Right?
Yeah, I love
he
that.
goes to the store, it's like, hey, did you use your money? He's like, no, I use my mom's money. I'm like, well, my mom's using my money, right?
Yeah.
So it's funny though, because in a way he's actually leveraging me, right?
Yeah.
OPM, that's another thing too,
Yeah.
is other people's money.
Right.
And other people's money can mean a lot of things, right? It can mean investors, it can mean, borrowing money from individual that it will help you now accelerate wherever you want to go, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's investing in a company or some opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's another thing too, I would say, like right now it's a perfect time to create multiple streams of income.
Yeah.
We're in that era where, one income stream is no longer reliable. Companies will let you go even though you had 10, 20 years with them. It's all about whatever their bottom line is, right?
Yeah.
So I would say right now also too, it's a great time to start looking at ways where you can create passive income. And that's actually how I got started in this industry. I was looking, I wanted additional income. I got my license. I landed with a very, a good firm that supports me and everything that I do. And so I would also encourage people to, look at ways where they can increase their income and then have that work for them.
So this is something that people can actually do too. Like if you have your 9 to 5 right now, jump in and start doing that, start learning the business and actually having somebody like you to guide them, or at least giving them, help them take the first steps so they can then eventually do this on their own, right? It's something that the company offers.
Yeah. We, our company is just like kind of like real estate, right? And people can get a license and our industry has seen a significant boom. Especially after 2020. Our work is virtual. I can work anywhere now. I can work remote. Whereas before I would meet people face to face, right? And so I mean, someone is really focused and they want to commit to learn a new skill. They can absolutely potentially visit this industry. I recommend it.
Awesome.
You're going to learn how money works.
Yeah.
And you're going to teach other people how that works too, right? Yeah. And so like I came into this industry knowing a little bit, not much. My background was project management.
Right.
And before that I was a technician, right? So now I come into this industry and I'm learning by all these professionals, all these different companies. And so now it's like, great, now I have all this knowledge that I can now pass on to other people.
For sure. Where can people find you if they want to connect with you or keep learning from you?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the ways I would just say Instagram, right? And then of course Facebook, but Instagram it's at it's Money Moves. I haven't given this handle in a long time. What is it?
Like Money Moves
Christian.
Yeah,
Christian dot Money Moves. Yeah. We'll put it in it. Yeah.
No, for sure. No, that's awesome, man. Well, again, I can continue on this. I love this topic. I think we definitely got to come back a second time, and maybe this time we're gonna figure out a way to actually take questions because I think that'll be pretty awesome to be able to do that. And so, thank you for giving me the space and this time and sharing your knowledge.
Thank you for having me. And just to clarify, it's Christian.moneymoves.
Okay, and there you go.
Perfect.
We have it. And I gotta tell you, at least from my perspective, this is the guy, actually, I met him a long time ago, but he has been the one that has helped me put together my estate planning, work on different financial strategies to make sure that I'm taken care of in the near future. And now my daughter and my grandkids can have what they need to have once I'm way gone. So I definitely recommend you guys connecting with Christian or just send me a message and I can definitely help you with that too. So awesome.
I'll end with this because you said it right. I've known you for many years. I remember your daughter being younger and no kids, right? Now you're a grandpa. We kind of joke around that. But what I love most about what I do is knowing that if something happens to you, that I have the great honor and privilege to say, hey, this is what your dad did for you.
Yeah.
Right now, you're in good hands.
Right.
So to me, that's the biggest responsibility. Kind of even get emotional about that, right?
Yeah, for sure, man.
Because it's a journey.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
it's a journey, right?
Yeah.
And I love that families will invite me
Yeah.
to be part of their journey.
Yeah.
So thanks for
And
having me.
thank you, man. I appreciate it. Hey guys, thank you again. Make sure that do me a favor, share this video and send it to everyone and tag as many people as you want because I know people are looking for that financial solution. So thank you again for being here, guys.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Cesar Espino, real estate investor, business coach, and consultant, and author of the book, You Can Overcome Anything Even When the World Says No. My number is 424-501-6046. In my book, I talk about making the necessary changes to shift your mind for prosperity and certainty. Pick up your copy at Amazon. I also love helping families with their real estate and can purchase your house fast and all cash. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. My number is 424-501-6046.
Thank you for having me today. I am so glad you've tuned into this podcast. You can find me at your favorite podcast platform where you can like, subscribe, comment, and share. And to learn more about myself, my services, you can find me at www.cesarrespino.com, or you can also find me at your social media. Thanks for joining me, and I am looking forward to having you at the next episode. And know you truly can overcome anything.